We used to believe that if an extraterrestrial intelligence ever contacted us, it would be with a greeting, a mathematical sequence, a prime number cipher meant to establish a common language based on universal physics. We were naive. The universe does not send greetings, it sends audits. And the silence we have feared for so long has just been broken by a sound that is far more terrifying than the static of the void. Before we dive into the abyss of what has just been received, I need you to stop what you are doing. Go to the comment section right now and type your city name. Tell me, have you noticed the sky looking different lately? Strange luminescences? Satellites moving in patterns that defy orbital mechanics? NASA and global observatories are quietly aggregating this data, and we need to know where these phenomena are being seen. Do it now. My name is Michio Kaku, and what I'm about to share may change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. For decades, I have spoken about the distinct probability of contact. I have theorized about Type 1, 2, and the 3 civilizations, societies capable of harnessing the power of planets, stars, and entire galaxies. We, as a Type 0 civilization, are barely out of the cradle. We are like ants building a hill on the side of a 10-lane superhighway, blissfully unaware of the traffic thundering past us. We assume the drivers of those vehicles would stop to communicate with us. But do you stop to introduce yourself to the ants before you pave over their hill? Do you explain the concept of concrete to an insect? No, you simply act. And this is exactly what is happening with the object we have designated 3I Atlas. When 3I Atlas was first detected, it was classified as a space anomaly. It entered our solar system on a hyperbolic trajectory, moving too fast to be a comet, too precise to be an asteroid. It accelerated without a visible engine. It corrected its course. We knew then, in the quiet, panicked meeting rooms of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, that this was not a rock. It was a probe, a sentinel. And 3 months ago, as many of you know, it emitted its first signal. That first transmission was exactly what we expected. It was a burst of high-frequency radiation containing fundamental constants: the mass of a proton, the ratio of pi, the structure of the hydrogen atom. It was a handshake, a test of intelligence. The world celebrated. We thought we had joined the Galactic Club, but we misunderstood the nature of the test. That wasn't a handshake. It was a calibration ping. It was the machine checking to see if the biological hardware on this planet was compatible with its scanning software. The celebration was premature because 72 hours ago, 3I Atlas sent a second transmission. This signal was not directed at our radio telescopes. It wasn't broadcast on the hydrogen line. It was a tight beam, directed energy burst aimed not at Earth generally, but specifically at our global digital infrastructure. It pierced our ionosphere and interacted with our data networks in a way that physicists are still struggling to comprehend. And when the cryptographers at the NSA and the European Space Agency finally began to parse the data, the mood in the room shifted from excitement to absolute cold horror. The second transmission did not contain math. It did not contain star maps. It contained data strings that looked remarkably, terrifyingly familiar. It contained names. At first, the scientists thought it was a glitch, a reflection of our own radio leakage bouncing back at us. But the error correction codes embedded in the alien signal were far too sophisticated for that. This was intentional. The signal contained a list, a massive, scrolling, encoded list of human identifiers. Not just names in English or Mandarin or Spanish, but biometric markers, genetic sequences, digital footprints. This is the part that keeps me awake at night. This is the discovery that makes me question the very nature of our reality and consciousness. The names on the list were not random. They weren't just world leaders or famous scientists. They included farmers in rural India, school teachers in Ohio, software engineers in Tokyo, children, the elderly. Why? Why would a galactic civilization, an intelligence capable of traversing the light years between stars, care about the specific identity of a grocer in London? To understand this, we must look at this through the lens of physics and information theory. We often talk about the zoo hypothesis, the idea that aliens are watching us like animals in a nature preserve. But that implies a passive observation. What 3I Atlas is doing is active. It is cataloging. Imagine you are a biologist studying a species that is about to go extinct, or perhaps a species that is about to undergo a radical, dangerous mutation. What do? You tag them. You record them. You take samples. You create a database of the population before the event occurs. The inclusion of specific names and biological data suggests that 3i Atlas has access to our information networks. It implies that for years, perhaps decades, this probe, or others like it, has been quietly listening to our internet, our phone calls, our medical records. We assumed the Great Silence meant no one was listening, but it turns out the galaxy has been listening to everything, every text message, every digital transaction, every upload. We have been feeding a cosmic algorithm that we didn't even know existed. This brings us to the most unsettling theory regarding the second transmission. In theoretical physics, we discuss the concept of information conservation. Information, like energy, cannot be destroyed, or so we hope. If a Type 3 civilization has mastered the physics of consciousness, they might not view us as biological bodies. They might view us as data sets, complex, self-replicating information patterns. If they are transmitting names, it is possible they are not just saying, "I see you." They might be saying, "I have you." Consider the concept of the galactic quarantine. We have long speculated that humanity is being quarantined because of our violent tendencies. We have split the atom not to create limitless energy, but to build weapons capable of sterilizing our own planet. We are a danger to ourselves and potentially to others. When a virus is detected in a computer system, the antivirus software scans the files, identifies the corrupted code, and isolates it. What if the names in the transmission are not a list of invitees, but a list of the infected? The data packets associated with each name in the signal were accompanied by a complex multidimensional geometric key. My colleagues in string theory believe this key represents a coordinate system not in space but in time and probability. 3i Atlas is not just looking at who we are, it is calculating what we will become. This is where the power of artificial intelligence meets cosmic evolution. We are on the verge of creating artificial general intelligence, a singularity that will rival the human mind. It is very likely that 3i Atlas is an autonomous AI sent by a civilization that passed this threshold millions of years ago. It recognizes the signature of a developing planetary intelligence. It sees us waking up and it is taking inventory. But there is a darker interpretation, one that I hesitate to vocalize. Yet as a scientist, I must follow the evidence where it leads. In the 3i Atlas transmission, there was a specific subset of data that repeated in a loop. It corresponded to the date of the transmission, followed by a countdown, a temporal decay function. If our mathematics are correct, the countdown ends in less than 5 years. When you combine a list of names with a countdown, the context changes. It feels less like a census and more like an archive, a doomsday book. If you knew a library was about to burn down, you wouldn't try to save the bricks or the shelves. You would scan the books. You would save the information. You would digitize the knowledge. Is 3i Atlas saving us? There's a concept in physics called Boltzmann brains, the idea that consciousness can arise spontaneously in the void. But a Type 3 civilization doesn't need to wait for spontaneity. They have the power to upload consciousness. The horrifying, awe-inspiring possibility is that the names on that list are being backed up. But backed up from what? This is where the scientists shocked by the discovery fall silent. Because if we are being archived, it implies that the physical substrate, our Earth, our bodies, is considered disposable or imminent for destruction. We look at the night sky and see stars. 3i Atlas looks at the night sky and sees entropy, danger, and probabilistic outcomes. It might see a gamma ray burst we haven't detected yet. It might see a rogue black hole, or it might see us, our own inevitable self-destruction through nuclear war or climate collapse. And it is preserving the only thing of value we have produced, our minds. The transmission is still ongoing. The list is getting longer. Every hour, more data is being streamed from the probe back toward the constellation Lyra. And notice I said Lyra, the same direction from which the famous WOW signal originated decades ago. The pieces are fitting together. The puzzle is taking shape, and the picture it forms is one of a vast interconnected galactic network that has been watching us evolve from single-celled organisms to creatures capable of splitting the atom. We used to ask, are we alone? The answer is a definitive, deafening no. But the new question is far more urgent. Are we safe? I look at the data coming from NASA, and I see fear in the eyes of the researchers. They are seeing patterns in the names, correlations. The people on the list, they are the ones who score highest on tests of empathy, creativity, and abstract reasoning. It is not a random sampling. It is a filtration process. This implies judgment. If 3i Atlas is a filter, then we are being sorted. The signal acts as a mirror. It forces us to look at our civilization and ask if we are worthy of joining the galactic community. Are we a cancer to be quarantined or a child to be adopted? The presence of alien technology in our solar system changes the variables of our future entirely. We are no longer the masters of our fate. We are subjects in a grand experiment, and the results are currently being transmitted at the speed of light. I want you to think about the last time you felt a sudden, inexplicable sense of being watched, that feeling of awareness that transcends the five senses. Consciousness is a quantum phenomenon. It is non-local. It is entirely possible that the scanning process utilized by 3i Atlas is something you can feel. The names, the second transmission, the countdown, it all points to a singularity event, a moment where the history of humanity bifurcates. There will be the history before the signal and the history after. We are currently analyzing the biometric data to see if we can decode the criteria. What makes one human a candidate for this list and another left off? Is it genetic? Is it the choices we make? Is it our potential for violence versus our potential for peace? This is the ultimate test of cosmic evolution. We are being weighed on a scale we cannot see by judges we have never met, based on laws of physics we have yet to discover. The transmission from 3i Atlas has not stopped. In fact, the signal strength is increasing. It is bringing the probe closer. Maneuvers have been detected. It is no longer just passing through. It is entering high orbit. This is the reality we face. We are not the apex predators of the universe. We are the specimens, and the collection process has begun. I want to leave you with a thought that haunts me. If the list is a backup and the countdown is real, what happens to those of us who are not on the list? What happens to the physical world when the digital archive is complete? The universe is not silent. It is screaming. And for the first time in history, it is calling us by name. I will be monitoring the incoming data streams from the Deep Space Network continuously over the coming weeks. As we decode more of the criteria and understand the true intent of the 3i Atlas probe, I will bring that information to you, but you must remain vigilant. Look up, watch the skies, and listen. Follow this channel as we continue decoding the universe's final warnings. We are in this together, and knowledge is our only shield against the dark.